Of course, the Dallas Cowboys are the most popular team in the Dallas Metroplex area by far. They own the state, but the two better football teams, at least for their level of play, were playing on Saturday afternoon. TCU and SMU. Last season, the Mustangs, en route to a college football playoff appearance, were much better and dragged the Horned Frogs across the field 66-42. This time, TCU gets some payback and set themselves up for a possible run in the Big 12. Welcome to the Voice of College Football. Best discussion, debate, and analysis taken in TCU and SMU. Josh Hoover, of course, one of the better quarterbacks in college football, coming off a 4,000-yard campaign in 2024. Almost through for that kind of yardage against the Mustangs. 22 of 40, 379, 5 touchdowns for Josh Hoover. And he got the Horned Frogs off to a great start, hooking up with Eric McAllister on the first possession for the Horned Frogs. McAllister abused the SMU defense. 8 catches, 254, 3 touchdowns. And McAllister was impossible to cover on this day. TCU led it at 7-0. SMU could not complete a catch in the back of the end zone. And it was a field goal at 7-3. Looked like it was going to be a touchdown for the Mustangs to not the score. But again, the catch was not completed. And just slight, subtle plays like that by wide receivers versus defensive backs. This was one of those games. It was a wide receiver versus DB game. And if you love to see the skill guys on the outside, the freakish athletes, this was the game for you on Saturday at noon Eastern Time. TCU on a 4th and 4. Hoover, DJ Rogers in this one beat the blitz, so he did the smart play. The blitz was coming. He replaced the blitz on his route, went down to the 20-yard line on that one. Hoover on a 3rd down. Touchdown play to Jeremy Payne. TCU led it at 14-3. 13 plays, 75 yards on that drive. All right, SMU finally gets it going here as they were dominated early in this game. Kevin Jennings, of course, it was this time last year that he ascended to the starting role in place of Preston Stone in Dallas. 24 of 38 on this day, 290 yards. A cross-body throw that was pretty exceptional to see as he was trapped in the pocket and again threw it across his body to one of the best tight ends in college football, Matthew Hibner, for a touchdown. We had a 14-10 ball game. And this is what it would be, just an entertaining football game in which the defenses were getting abused most of the time. Although SMU DB Jalen Davis Robinson takes the ball away from McAllister. This is about the only thing he did wrong on this day. He should have had a touchdown, maybe possibly assumed he had it in his grasp. And Davis Robinson took it right away from McAllister in the corner of the end zone for a touchback. SMU's 9th takeaway of the season. That is the top figure for a defense in college football this season. Despite the big statistical day, Kevin Jennings hit hard by the TCU defense several times, laid on the field a number of times, but to his credit, stayed in the game, completed a 10-play, 75-yard drive to Yamir Wright, who beat tight coverage from Bud Clark. TCU 21-17 at this point, 5 minutes left in the third quarter. We went over the huge day by McAllister. Keep this in mind. He had the ball taken away from him in the corner of the end zone. That could have been his 4th touchdown. He also possibly had another touchdown. McAllister, despite the enormous day, 8 catches, 254 yards, was close to having 300 yards plus and 5 touchdowns as a receiver because he was ruled out of the end zone. Boy, it was a close call. I don't know why the play was not reviewed, and Sonny Dykes certainly questioned that when they talked to him on the sidelines in regards to the review and why that was not a touchdown. Too close for me to call despite all the camera angles. SMU still down 21-17, and Kevin Jennings' back foot rainbow throw. Romello Brinson tied up with the defensive back, made a late break on the ball and made a beautiful over-the-shoulder catch in which, again, the acceleration was remarkable. The former Miami wide receiver, 4 catches for 51 yards. And then just a couple plays later, we have the byproduct of the transfer portal where Jordan Hudson, playing for TCU last season, transfers to SMU, plays against his former teammates immediately the next season. Well, he goes down the seam, catches a touchdown from Kevin Jennings, and really good running back blitz pickup on this one saved Jennings and the SMU offense first lead of the ball game for SMU. So they were pretty much outplayed to a certain extent in this game, but they take the lead here with 10 minutes left in the game, 24-21. But SMU's undoing on this day, much like in a loss to Baylor 48-45, is that the secondary just getting shredded, and they could not do anything about Eric McAllister. On a 3rd and 5, he races 70 yards for a touchdown on a short pass, makes a couple moves, makes guys miss, and he could not be caught. Then finally, we get some defense in this football game as TCU stood up on that side of the football for the final 3 SMU drives. Punt, interception, interception, both of them by their veteran Jamel Johnson, who preserved the lead and then allowed TCU to extend it with a drive for a touchdown to put the icing on the cake. 35-24. TCU racked up 517 yards in this game. They were the better football team, played from the lead most of the way, but again, SMU did take a lead at 24-21 with 10 minutes left, but TCU, I would say the better football team with 133 more yards of total offense. TCU 3-0, so they've got that impressive win against North Carolina the first weekend of the season by 34 points. Now tack this one on against another ACC team, and now we've got another Big 12 showdown. When TCU takes on Arizona State on the road, they could be a key factor in the conference race. For SMU, they fall to 1-2, so their chances of making an at-large, as they did in 2024 to the CFP, basically 0. But they have yet to begin conference play. They've got Syracuse next week, and we see what the Cuse is doing against Clemson, so that's not necessarily going to be a cakewalk for SMU, even at home against the Orange. Your thoughts about SMU and TCU? 2 interesting football teams. TCU, possibly a contender in the Big 12, along with half of the conference. And for SMU, again, their path is now as ACC champs. We'll see you next time right here at the Voice of College Football. Keep in mind, we go live after the games on Saturday, and post-game Thursday and Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time is our slot. Late night here at the Voice of College Football, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. See you then.